Uh-oh. Trying to fill the lungs completely, noticing whether your breath is smooth, noticing whether your breath is easy or labored. Noticing whether your breath is fast or slow. See if you can begin to slow the breath down a little by lengthening your exhale. Making each breath as deep and as slow as you possibly can. Now let's see if we can begin to engage the parasympathetic system, that rest and digest, a little bit more by adding a variation on Brahmari breath, or bee's breath. We're going to take a deep breath in and hum on the exhale. Letting your hum continue as long as your exhale continues. Let's do it again. And one more time. And then let your breathing return to natural. Notice the cross of your legs, and let's switch, taking the inside leg to the outside and cross. Shifting gently side to side, adding a little movement to the spine and the hips. Shifting gently forward and back, without judgment, without force or trying to change anything, just being aware of what sensations you feel. And then doing a few small circles, one way, and as you come back up, reversing that direction, going the other way. And coming back to center, taking a deep breath in, taking the arms up overhead, clasping fingers, lifting those fingers to the sky, and then drawing your shoulders back and down, letting them stay settled into their sockets. On your next exhale, keeping your torso upright, slowly leaning to one side, and inhaling back up. Exhaling to the other side. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to the first side. And inhaling back up. Exhaling to the other side. And inhaling back up. And releasing the arms back down. Doing a couple of shoulder circles one way and the other. And then finally taking them up to your ears, drawing them back and relaxing them back down the spine. Let's take our feet together into a bound ankle position. Now your knees will likely be up in the air. You can sit on a blanket or use blankets underneath your knees if you need to in any of these positions. We're going to take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to reach the heart forward rather than down. Inhale it back up. Exhale, reach it forward. Inhale it back up. Exhale it, reach it forward. Being aware of any discomfort, any tension you're feeling in your body as you move through these positions. And as you come back up, close the knees and come up to a standing position. Standing at the front of your mat, make sure your feet are about hip width apart. Feet parallel, neither turning in nor out. Soft bend in your knees. Lift your shoulders up, back, and down. Lift your head, standing as tall as you can. Release your hands down, palms forward, coming into mountain pose. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, fingertips to the ceiling, shoulders continue to draw down, gaze lifts. Holding here for a breath or two. As you exhale, draw those thumbs back just a little bit more, gaze lifts a little higher, maybe even lifting all the way up to look past the fingertips. On the exhale, forward fold. Bending through the knees as much as you need to take the hands to the ground. As you inhale, lift your hips a little higher. As you exhale, relax your torso, let it begin to hang down. Using as little effort as you can to hold yourself here. Breathing deeply. Grab opposite elbows. And see if you can release a little bit more, gently swaying side to side, maybe bending into one knee and then the other. Release those hands back down. Bend generously into the knee. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins or thighs. Press into your legs. Draw your shoulders back and down, reaching your scapula, your shoulder blades towards the spine. Reaching the crown of your head forward and your hips back gently. Creating space for the spine to lengthen. On the next exhale, step it back with the left leg to meet the right, coming into plank. Elbows reach in towards one another. Shoulders draw back and in. Nice, long, flat body. Lower knees to the ground. Push your hips back. Forward. Rocking gently in between a low plank and a tucked toes child's pose. As you come forward this next time, untuck your toes, take your feet, tops of your feet flat to the ground, and shift your hips back, coming into a full child's pose. Begin to relax through the shoulders, relax through the chest, relax the neck, taking the head and chest down towards the floor. Breathing deeply. Adjust through your arms, through your shoulders, so that you can relax a little bit more into this. Noticing the places where you feel tension, and seeing if you can soften and relax just a little bit more. Press your palms back down into the mat. Walk your hands off the mat in direction. Stretch through our side body down from under our armpit, all the way to inhale, press into those palms, lift your chest a little higher. As you exhale, push your hips a little farther back. Relax your chest down towards the floor a little bit more, feeling that stretch intensify. As you breathe, imagine that your sides are poofing out just as your belly or chest would. Direct that breath into your side, feeling it expand even more. Inhale, take it back through center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, just begin to notice all the tension, all the stretching, and where it's happening. Not trying to force, not trying to change, just being aware. As you inhale, press into your hands, lift your chest a little higher. As you exhale, push your hips back a little farther, deepening the stretch through the side. Relax the chest, take it a little bit lower. Breathing deeply. As you inhale, imagine that breath going through the ribs to expand. Feel the movement in the rib cage as you inhale. And as you exhale, relax just a little bit, lowering a little closer to the floor. Inhale, take it back up through center. Exhale, walk your hands a little farther to the other side. Inhale, press into the hands to lift the chest. Exhale, push the hips back towards the heels. Breathing deeply. Feeling that expansion through the side body. Relaxing that torso a little bit lower. Inhale, take the hands back through center. Exhale, walk the hands a little farther on the other side. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, relax the chest a little lower. Inhale, press into the palms, lift the chest. Exhale, push the hips back a little farther. Begin to relax the chest a little lower as you inhale, feeling that expansion through the side body once again. Inhaling back through center. As you exhale, lift up to tabletop. Take a deep breath in. Tuck your toes. As you exhale again, lift your knees, send your hips back. So on your first downward dog, don't even try to put your heels on the ground right away. Just become aware of your contact with the earth. Feel the balls of the feet, the toes, the palms, the fingers. Begin to draw your elbows towards one another and pull your shoulders into their sockets. Reach the crown of your head down towards the ground, finding a good alignment in your upper body. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift your hips a little higher, press your chest back a little closer to your thighs. Slowly begin to push one heel and then the other towards the ground, pedaling out the legs. If you find that your feet make it all the way down, you can go ahead and rest with your heels on the ground. Your knees can remain bent or fully extended, or you can continue to pedal and work through the leg muscles. Take one more deep breath here. Exhale, take your knees back down to the ground. Step it forward with your right leg. Lift that back knee. Coming into our lunge with the right leg forward. Just taking a moment to notice, feeling that tension, feeling that stretch. Seeing if you can begin to let go, to soften, and allow everything to happen naturally, without force, without effort. Feel those muscles begin to lengthen. Deep breath in. On the exhale, slide, walk, or step your foot back up to meet the other. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands flat to the ground. Knees can remain bent. Or as you inhale, see if you can lift your hips a little higher, deepening the stretch through the leg muscles. See if you can begin to relax your torso a little bit more, letting your chest slide down the thighs, your head hang like the center of a bell. Your arms relax like the outer parts of a bell, gently letting your head swing side to side like a ringing bell. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, fully relax that torso down, letting it hang as heavy and effortless as you possibly can. Bend through the knees gently. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, coming into extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to either side of the feet. Step it back with the left leg, coming into lunge. Deep breath in. On the exhale, lower that back knee, coming into a low lunge. Noticing the change in the sensation. Noticing where you feel the stretch now compared to just a moment ago. Slowly begin to walk your hands back, letting your front leg straighten just a little bit. Walk your hands back forward. Walk your hands towards the back of the mat, letting the toes of the front leg peel up. Walk your hands back forward. Walk your hands towards the back of the mat, letting your toes, the ball of your foot, everything peel up, toes pointing up to the ceiling. Feeling the stretch through the front leg. And walk your hands to the front. Walk your hands back towards the back of the mat again, seeing if you can take your hands underneath your shoulders, your hips, over your back knee. Take a deep breath in. As you lower, see if you can take your chest down towards your thigh, breathing deeply. If you feel any pain in the knee that you're kneeling on, know that you can always take a blanket underneath your grounding knees to help relieve some of the pressure. Inhale, lift back up, walk back forward. Tuck that back toe, lift the knee, and take the front foot back to meet the back. Lower the knees down. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, bend through the elbows, lower all the way down to the floor. We're going to be making our way into our first cobra. We want hands under shoulders, elbows in towards ribs. Crown of the head lifted, gaze forward. Breathing deeply. Noticing the sensations. Noticing where in your back, in your neck, in your sides, your hips, you feel these sensations of stretching or tension. Lower back down. Inhale, we're going to lift just a little higher. Draw those shoulders back, draw the elbows towards the ribs. Gaze remains forward, crown of the head lifting up, palms pressing down. Exhale, relax back down. Inhale, lift. Press palms into the earth. Elbows stay slightly bent, hips still grounded on the earth, crown of the head lifting up, shoulders back and down. Breathing deeply. Gaze forward as the crown of the head lifts. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, push back up to a low plank. Take your knees out wide, toes in together. Push your hips back towards your heels. Begin to notice the stretch, the tension, any of the sensations you're feeling in this position. Inhale, lift back up. Adjust the knees, taking them a little wider or a little closer together, whatever you feel will be best for your body. And then pushing the hips back once again. Settling in, noticing how it feels to be here. Inhale, coming back up. Adjusting a little more as needed, making sure those toes are touching or close to touching. Those knees are out wide to stretch the hips. And then push your hips back. Press into your palms. Take a deep breath in as you lift through the torso. Wiggle your hands back a little bit if you need to, and as you exhale, sit your hips back a little bit more. Lower the torso down towards the ground. Whether it makes it there or it hovers above is fine. You can let your forehead or your cheek come down to rest on your mat. Fully relaxing, surrendering into this position. Letting your awareness go to your hips. Feeling any places of tension. And imagine that tension starting to soften. Inhaling, pressing into the palms, coming back up onto the knees, walking knees in. Tucking toes, lifting knees, pushing hips back into downward dog. Drawing elbows together, shoulders into sockets, reaching the crown of the head towards the floor. Inhale again to lift your hips a little higher. Exhale, press your chest back towards your thighs. For people who are very flexible, there's a tendency to want to press the chest all the way back to the thighs and bow through the back. But we want to keep our back long and naturally straight. As straight as it naturally is. So instead of reaching the heart back as far as we can get it, we want to keep it roughly with our ears between our shoulders or between our biceps, and continuing to push back until our arms are straight overhead. Breathing deeply. Pedaling through the heels if that feels good. Shifting your weight slowly into the right leg. Begin to slide, walk, or step the left leg forward into a lunge. Lower that back knee down. Just becoming aware of the stretch, aware of the tension. And you can even tuck that back toe, lift the knee and push through the heel to take that back knee back a little and deepen the stretch. Breathing deeply. Walk the hands back just one step. And walk them back forward. Walk them back a little bit farther, letting the toes begin to peel up off the ground. And then walk them back forward. Walk the hands back even farther, letting the toe and ball of the foot raise up and the weight come onto the heel. Walk the hands forward. Walk the hands back again. Toes and ball of the foot come up. Heel is grounded. Front leg is straight. Shoulders are over wrists, roughly. Hips are over back knee. Breathing deeply here, feeling the stretch through the front leg. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, see if you can begin to bend through your elbows just a little bit. Deepening that stretch through the leg. Inhale, lift back up, walk the hands back forward. Tuck the back toe. Slide, step, or walk the foot back to the front. Feet close together. Palms pressing down into the earth. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Grab opposite elbows, gently rocking side to side. Release the arms down, slowly rolling up like a garage door. Letting your shoulders and head be the last things to roll up. And as they do, inhale, swoop the arms up overhead, fingertips lift, thumbs draw back as you look up towards the ceiling or sky. Upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, reach the crown of your head forward, push your hips back. Exhale, forward fold, step it back with your right leg, coming into your lunge again. Noticing the sensations, noticing if you need to wiggle your foot back just a little farther to begin to feel the stretch and the sensations on this side. Lower that back knee down, engage the core, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead into a low crescent. Draw your thumbs and fingers back, gaze lifts to the ceiling if you're feeling steady. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the knees, step it back into plank or low plank with knees on the ground. Draw elbows together, shoulders back. Try to keep a nice long plane from shoulders to hips to heels. Exhale, halfway lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Making sure either the knees and hips are both up or both down. Gaze remains forward, crown of the head still lifting. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing deeply, draw your elbows in towards one another, your shoulders into your sockets, reach the crown of your head towards the floor. Lift your hips a little higher, and on the exhale, take your chest towards your thighs. Continuing to breathe deeply, pedaling through the heels if that feels good. Step, slide, or walk your right leg forward back into a lunge. Wiggle that back heel back a little bit more if you need to. Lower knee down to ground, untuck the toes. As you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, coming into a low crescent on this side. Hands reaching up to the ceiling, shoulders drawing back and down. Draw your thumbs back a little farther, take your gaze up past your fingertips. Breathing deeply. Exhale, forward fold. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, walk, slide, or step your back foot forward to meet the front. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, coming into a standing pose. Fingertips lift, thumbs draw back. Gaze goes up past the fingertips in your extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step it back into a lunge. Lower your back knee down. Staying here for just a moment. We're going to be making our way into a twist. When we go into a twist, we want an opposite hand to an opposite leg in most cases. So since our front leg is our right leg, we're going to take our left arm to our right knee in a moment. So inhale, lift up. Take your left elbow to right knee. It looks like the page has crashed. If it hasn't, please bear with me. I'm not sure what Facebook is doing. Okay. So we're in left leg back, right leg forward, left elbow to right knee. And we can stay here, or we can try to deepen this a little bit by taking that right arm up and back, taking our gaze back over that back hand, breathing deeply. Take that back hand back to knee, lower that hand back down close to the foot. Inhale, take the arm up towards the ceiling, pressing palm down into the earth, lifting through the fingertips, gaze up over the arm. Exhale, relax that hand back down to the ground. Untuck your toes, lift your knees, step it back into a plank or a low plank. Shoulders draw back and down, elbows reach in towards one another. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, cobra or chaturanga. Exhale, downward dog. Continuing to lift the hips, draw the shoulders in. Draw elbows in, draw shoulders into their sockets. Deep breath in. Exhale, take that chest a little closer to the thighs. Breathing deeply. Lift that right heel high, coming into a three-legged dog. As you exhale, draw your knee to your chest, shift your weight forward into a plank, and take it into a cobra or a pigeon pose. Walk that back heel back a little bit until you start to feel a nice deep stretch, and then lower your knee down to the ground, breathing deeply. The closer your front heel is to your hip, the less intense your hip stretch will be. So if you want to intensify it, go ahead and walk your toes a little closer to your wrist. If you want to lessen it, walk your heel a little closer to your hip. Find a happy medium in between there where you can feel a deep stretch. And if your hips are very high off the ground, go ahead and slide a blanket underneath your hip to begin to allow that hip to relax and release a little bit, for you to use a little less effort to hold yourself in this position while the muscles stretch themselves. Breathing deeply. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend through the elbows, lower just a little bit. Testing how low you can safely go before coming back up. Walk your hands out just a little bit farther. Deep breath in. As you exhale, bend into the elbows just a little bit more, lowering the chest down just a little and coming back up. If you had quite a bit of elbow bending there, maybe even walking the hands out a little bit farther. Deep breath in. As you exhale, bend into the elbows. Maybe your elbows come all the way down to the ground and you rest on your forearms. If this stretch isn't deep enough, begin to walk the forearms a little farther forward, taking the chest a little closer towards the ground. Stopping when you find the point where you have a good deep stretch without any pain. Breathing deeply. We'll be here for just one or two more breaths. And on your next inhale, slowly pushing yourself back up. You're going to gently rock side to side and forward and back. Tuck that back toe, walk your knee in just a little. Slide your other leg out, coming to tabletop. And pushing your hips back gently, coming into a child's pose. Relaxing into this position as much as you possibly can. Letting your head rest on the ground, your chest rest down on the knees or thighs. Your hips press back towards the heels. See how little effort you can use to hold yourself here in this position. Inhale, press into the palms, come halfway up. Come all the way up into tabletop. Let's step it forward with our left leg, gently rocking forward and back, making sure we relieved any tension. We're going to walk the right hand in a little closer to the left foot. We're going to take a twist in the opposite direction this time. Take that hand back down to the knee, push yourself up, take elbow to knee, and then open up from here. Taking that arm either up and over or back and over, whatever feels good to you. And release that back down. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, step it back into a downward dog. Lift your hips high, take a deep breath in. Exhale, push your chest back towards your thighs a little bit more. Lift your left leg high, coming into your three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest, shift it forward into a plank and rotate that heel up towards the hip. Wiggle that back leg back a little bit farther to deepen your stretch if you need to. Breathing deeply. Becoming aware of where you feel the stretch on this side. And knowing that we are not as symmetrical of beings as we think we are. So if you feel a much more intense stretch on this side, recognize it, honor it. There's no need to force past what your body is ready to do. Knowing that you can adjust to intensify the stretch by bringing your toes up closer to your wrist, or decrease by taking your heel back closer to your hip. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gently bend through the elbows, taking the chest a little lower. Inhale, take it back up. If that was too much for you, then stay here without lowering. If you want to go a little deeper, take your hands a little bit farther forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend through the elbows. Take them a little lower. Inhale, come back up. If that was too much for you, then just stay here. If you want to go a little farther, walk the hands out one more step. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, see if you can lower all the way down. Your elbows may even come to the floor. If this feels like a good stretch, stay here. If you need more, begin to walk the hands a little bit farther forward. Breathing deeply, relaxing through the hips. Walk the hands a little farther forward. Breathing deeply. If you find that you've gone too deeply into a pose, know that you can always back out just a little. You should never feel any pain in any of these positions. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. Inhale, press into the hands. Slowly walk the hands back in. Gently shift side to side, forward and back, releasing any tension that may have formed around the hip joint. Tuck the toes, lift the knee, and slide that foot back to meet the other. Take the knees down and push the hips back, coming into your child's pose on this side. Relaxing through the torso, letting the head come down to rest on the mat. If your head doesn't quite make it there, you can always cross your forearms and let your forehead rest on top of the arms, making the pose work for you rather than the other way. Breathing deeply, focusing on your hips. As you inhale, lift through the spine. As you exhale, see if you can push your hips back just a little bit farther, adjusting your arms as you need. Uncrossing the arms. As you inhale, lift back up to tabletop. As you exhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees, push your hips back into downward dog. We're going to make our way into a plank. Bend the knees again, shift the weight forward, take the knees down to the earth, bend through the arms, lower chest to ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, take your highest cobra. Exhale, lower down. Take forearms to the ground, shoulders over elbows, or elbows under shoulders, whatever the case may be. Palms pressing down into the earth. Lift through the crown of your head, draw your shoulders back. Breathing deeply. Press into your palms, extend the arms, coming into seal. Breathing deeply, drawing shoulders back, reaching the heart forward. Bending through elbows, taking them back down to the ground, back into Sphinx. Lifting through the crown of the head, drawing elbows back, reaching the heart forward, drawing shoulders back, breathing deeply. Inhaling, pressing into palms, coming back up through seal, drawing shoulders back, elbows reach together, crown of the head lifts, breathing deeply. Bend through the elbows, take it back down. Walk your hands back under your shoulder. Deep breath in. Press up into a low plank and push your knees back. Push your hips back. Going back into your child's pose. Walk your hands over one way. Going back into our side stretch, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, take your chest a little lower. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, push your hips back. Inhale, expand through the side. Exhale, take your chest lower. Inhaling, walking the hands back through center. Exhaling, walking the hands over to the other side. Deep breath in. Exhale, take your chest lower. Inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, push your hips back. Inhale, expand through the side body. Exhale, take your chest lower. Breathe deeply. Inhale, take hands back through center. Inhale, come up through tabletop. We're going to tuck toes, lift knees, and push back into our downward dog. Breathing deeply here. I'm going to slowly walk the feet towards the top of the mat until they've come in between the hands. Slowly roll up just like a garage, head and shoulder still hanging down, being the last things to come up. Rolling shoulders up, back and down, and as you exhale, release the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, bend through the knees. If you're able to, keep lowering the hips, seeing if you can come all the way down to a seated position. Or lower down, bending through the elbows, come down onto one knee. And then the other, push the hips back, coming to a seated position. Let your focus come to your hips and your sits bones once again, grounding down into the earth, breathing deeply. Seeing if you can take those shoulders over hips, lift the crown of your head, sit a little taller. Take your feet out in front of you, soles of the feet touching, knees out to the sides, coming into our bound angle. You can keep your feet either farther away from you or bring them in a little closer, seeing which variation feels best for you and your body. And then we're slowly going to add a little motion here. Hands can stay on the shins or the knees, but remember, they're just there to stabilize you. They're not there to force or deepen the stretch through a death grip. So we're going to take a deep breath in, sit up nice and tall. As we exhale, reach the heart forward. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, reach the heart forward. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, reach the heart forward. Inhale, tall. Exhale, forward. Inhale, tall. Exhale, forward and hold, breathing deeply. Noticing where you feel the sensations. Remembering that tension and stretch are okay, but we don't want to feel any pain. Gently rocking side to side, taking a shoulder a little closer to a knee, one at a time. Just like a pendulum on a clock, swaying side to side. Seeing how still you can make those knees be as you move and hover over one and then the other, trying not to rock up and down, but letting the movement come through the spine. As you come back through center, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, sit straight up. Deep breath in. As you exhale, round through the spine, draw those shoulders forward. Let the gaze go downward. Breathing deeply. Coming into a little bit of a bound angle cat pose. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, reach the heart forward, draw the shoulder blades back, gaze stays forward. Hands are there to stabilize and support you, not to pull you down. Breathing deeply. As you exhale, see if you can take your ribs a little closer to the ankles. Breathing deeply. Maybe even shifting the hands. Forearms can come to the ground if they can reach. They can rest on top of the feet if that feels better. Just allowing yourself to rest in this position. No force. Letting each exhalation be an invitation to relax just a little bit more. Letting gravity do the work of pulling your torso down rather than trying to force it. Let go of that torso. Use as little effort as possible to hold yourself up. And as you inhale again, slowly push yourself back into a seated position. Take your feet back flat to the floor, nice and wide. Hands come back behind the hips. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let the hips drop down to one side. The knees drop down to one side. As you inhale, knees up. Exhale, knees to the other side. Inhale, knees up. Exhale, knees to the other side. Doing just a couple more of these windshield wipers, one way, and then the other. And the next time you lower them down, go ahead and release that back hand. Let yourself come up to a seated position, adjusting the knees and the feet as needed to allow yourself to sit flat. If you cannot sit like this, you can take the legs and stack one over the other. And we're going to go into a twist here. We're going to take the back hand, the hand farthest from the feet, and we're going to take it over on top of one of the knees. Your choice which one. We're going to sit up nice and tall. As we exhale, we're going to look over that back shoulder, keeping that spine as long and straight as we can keep it. Deep breath in. Exhale, release, come back through center. Take both hands back behind the hips. Lift those knees back up, adjust as needed. Take the feet back flat to the floor. Deep breath in. On the exhale, let the knees rock down to the other side. Sit yourself up a little taller. Adjust the legs as needed so you can relax the knees down, even if that means sliding one foot forward so the knees are more stacked, or adjusting by extending through the knees so you can sit up a little bit more. Inhale, sit a little taller. Exhale, taking the hand taking one hand to one of the knees. Exhaling, turning and looking over that back shoulder. Inhaling, coming back up through center. Taking the hand closest to the feet around to the opposite knee and looking over the other shoulder. Inhaling back through center. Taking the hands close to the hips. Letting the knees come back up. Letting them rock over to the other side. Taking the hand closest to the foot over to the other knee, walking that other hand back a little bit more, turning into your twist on this side. Inhaling back through center. Taking the hand closest to the knee to the other side, twisting the other way. Releasing both hands back down towards the hip. Inhaling, taking the knees up high and gently rocking them side to side, relieving any tension in the knees, the hips, or the legs. Find your way back down onto your back on your mat. Breathing deeply. Extending and relaxing. Taking up as much space as you can or as you want to. If it feels better for you to curl into a fetal position right now, know that that is an option. If you want to be on your side or on your stomach, that works too. Find the position that makes you the most comfortable, the most able to relax and release. Allow yourself a moment to shift, to wiggle, to move your body through any motions that it needs before coming to complete stillness. And let your focus return to your breath. Breathe deeply. Begin to notice the way it feels to inhale. Notice if the air is cool or warm. Notice where you can feel the air moving through your nostrils, through your throat, maybe even a little through your mouth or at the back of your tongue. Let your focus rest on these feelings and sensations that are created by your breath, continuing to breathe deeply. If any thoughts should come into your mind, feel them carried away on the exhalation. They can come back to you later at a more appropriate time. But for right now, this is your time. Just you and your breath. Imagine that you can feel that breath as you inhale traveling all the way down into your lungs. As you exhale, imagine that you can feel that oxygen transformed, traveling down through the limbs, all the way down to the fingers and the toes. Beginning to wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, bringing gentle movement back into your body. On the next exhale, wiggling the wrists and the ankles. Bending through the elbows and the knees. Maybe even walking the feet in, taking the knees to the chest, gently rocking side to side. Turning your head gently side to side, or nodding. And then however feels best to you, slowly make your way up to a seated position. And as you sit here in your cross-legged or extended leg position, notice your hips. Take a moment to be grateful that they're able to move, that they have the mobility and flexibility that they have, even if it's not the movement and flexibility that you want. Being thankful for all the places that our hips carry us and all the things they allow us to do. Let's take one final breath together. As we inhale, take your arms up overhead, palms come together. As you exhale, take hands to heart. As always, thank you for joining me. Namaste.